Good morning, it's Jonathan Barrett with the morning debrief. It's 8 o'clock, 8:01, and it's the 17th of February, 2011. Features last night, I guess a little bit of interesting news. Economic news was pretty positive out of the States, which was good. And I think on the back of that, we're seeing a little bit of strengthening, particularly in the Dow. We also had, I guess, a little bit of mixed response from Bernanke. In terms of recovery on the way, but hey, jobs aren't looking that good. Once again, we question that theme. Is the recovery all about the stimulus, or is the recovery talking about real economics? And I think that to me is one of the big issues at the moment. Apart from that, we saw a little bit of lift in crude from its lows, and I think that's clearly on the back of what's happening in Iran. Maybe there's a chance for a little bit more Middle East premium being put into the market. Gold continues to look relatively strong. Had a good move to the top side, but has since eroded some of those gains. But still looking quite steady at around that 1375. US dollar slightly weaker, and also we saw cotton. Cotton just continues its incredible run. So quite important and quite an interesting night. Okay, let's have a little bit of a capture of what happened last night. And I guess the most important thing, let's have a look at the Dow and see what happened there on the equity side. Let's just move that out of the way. Just a quick snapshot. The Dow was up 49, the S&P was up 7, the Nasdaq was up 23, so quite positive there. Over in Europe, top 50 was up 31 at 3,061. The FTSE was up 48. Very good profit reports from Barclays, and I think that was very supportive. So that came through. And the CAC was up 40 and the DAX was up 14. Local market on Cycom closed up 15 at 4,971. Equity markets looking quite good, and I think that to me, well, once again, they're ebbing and flowing quite dramatically. But let's see how that unfolds. Obviously, it's all about data. Concerns in the UK is about inflation and interest rates moving higher. Let's see what the Bank of England does. Okay, now moving on to the currency side of it. Dollar index, as you can see, looked quite strong. These sorts of moves really interest me because, as you can see, we had a nice little trend develop there, broke it, up she goes, and then now she's come back, crashing back. This tends to me to represent a bit of a breach, and more often than not, it basically says that, well, that movement that we've had, the positive movement, is perhaps a little bit over for the time being, so we're just into more consolidation. So let's see what that unfolds. So obviously the trend will put on stall for that dollar to go higher, and as a result of that, some dollar weakness probably here that's relatively muted. That also suggests that Aussie was up again at 1.0034, still within that range. Quite a last move to the top side. Probably expect that Aussie now to test back through that 1.01. These sorts of moves, the way it looks now, looks like the correction is pretty much over, and probably expect it to continue to trade a little bit higher. A little bit higher. Okay, now let's have a look at some of the commodities. Crude, obviously concerns there. Bit of a spike here, a little bit of a low. That trend going lower has been with us for some time. It is finding a little bit difficult to actually trade above that or break below that old low here and stay there. So in my mind, that suggests that that correction is underway, and perhaps we'll get a bit of strength back to the oil market. Copper 449. As you can see here, a little bit of a lift, a little bit of divergence here for copper as well. So I think we've got a little bit of a low here, and you can see that that's held well at this support. We do like to have a little bit of correction on it, but let's see what happens. But technically, we've got to really break through last night's low in order to be positive that the market will continue to correct. Okay, just quickly on some of the others. Gold, 1374 3/4, looks okay. A little bit of volatility, but had that peak at 1380. I think gold continues to look okay. Silver, once again, you can see that it's just holding up at those top ends, and any form trying to get lower, it actually sort of bounces back in its faces. I think, if anything, one of the big moves we had last night was cotton, and everyone's focusing on cotton at the moment, particularly with what's happening in India, where they are actually reducing or putting on a ban on their own exports, and that just keeps it going to record highs. So there's not a lot you can do in that market, but it's certainly going to make our shirts a little bit more expensive. Okay, just on the local market, I think that we're going to open up probably a little bit higher, extend these gains, break through this area. If you are short, I think I would peel back some of those positions, but let's just see what happens. Right on resistance around that 49.30, and I think I'll be pretty close to it when we do open. In terms of the economic calendar, today we've got RBA's Lowe gives a speech on the economy, and I guess we've got leading index in Japan. And I guess the most important things we've got coming into America, we've got a whole swag of data. CPI, very important there. Month-on-month data suggesting it's lower, but the core rate, the CPI overall, will show, will continue to show that we do have a little bit of growth, but nothing to get alarmed about. 1.6% is where we're looking for, and obviously the previous was 1.5, so I wouldn't get too concerned. Also, leading indicators, very important. And mortgage delinquencies, and there's quite a bit. So if anything there, I think that the idea would be to just stay close to the market. CPI obviously very important in the States. That will give us a bit of a dictate, but as you can see, the trend I think is changing tonight. We might get just a little bit of strength in some of these commodities. We have had corrections, so particularly oil, gold will remain with us, so stick with that. You know, on the US dollar, that correction we've looked for, we might have to wait a little bit for that US dollar to continue to firm. But that's about it from me. I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll certainly talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.